Good evening, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me. Good evening. Good evening, Mrs. Aworonke. Good evening, ma'am. Good to have you on this call tonight. Good evening, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me through the chat box. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm so excited to be in the room tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome once again to the FNP Fine Nigerian Properties webinar series. Welcome, good evening, everyone. I'm so excited about tonight. It's our monthly, webinar where we share knowledge on how you can, be a property investor, whatever it is that irrespective of, where you are starting from. And tonight is going to be very, very exciting. I'm so, so, so happy, being in this room tonight. My name is Olamide Onosami, and I am the CEO of Fine Nigerian Properties, the first self-regulated PropTech company in Nigeria, with the foremost, goal of ensuring credibility is restored back in Nigeria. Yes, thank you, Mr. Wonke. Glad to have you on this call. So, by the way of starting, for our guests, I would like you to just drop in the chat box your name and where you are joining us from, and maybe your property goal, and the barriers that you probably have experienced thus far, or you are experiencing, what is hindering you from achieving those goals. So let's keep it rolling in the chat box. Your name and where you are joining us from. Your name and where you are joining us from. I'm so excited about tonight because I know by the knowledge that would be gained tonight, a lot of people will become house owner in Nigeria. We have a lot of people outside, Nigerians in the diaspora that want to own a house, and there are so many issues around that. So people have trust issues, and people feel like, oh, the properties are way expensive, I don't have all the money, and we are going to be talking about that tonight, conversation about that, tonight. So I want you to drop it in the chat box. I need to see. Let me check what is okay. I can see Oyetade from Manchester. Thank you for joining. I can see Lovina from UK. I can see Soko Chuku from Lagos. I hope I pronounced that well. I can see Osaro from Germany. I can see Uchenna from London. I can see Antonia from Lagos. And yes, I can see Ola from Cote d'Ivoire. Yes, people from Nigeria. There are a lot of people. I realized recently that a lot of people don't even know about MRIEF, right? And people have been skeptical about using the traditional mortgage because of the rate, and a lot of Nigerians, learned people, don't even know about MRIEF. So it's going to be a wonderful conversation tonight. For me from UK, thank you for joining. I can see Benga from Highland. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So tonight, right, before I introduce our guest, right, I would also like us to, put it in the chat box. What are your property goals? What are the things that you intend to achieve, from this webinar? You want to, something like, I want to be able to buy a house in Lagos between now and December. I want to be able to buy a house in Ibadan, in Abuja between now and mid 2027. What are your property goals? What are the things that you really aspire, to do from the knowledge that will be gathered from this webinar? I need us to, also put that in the chat. But Ayomide from UAE, thank you for joining. Fantastic. Thank you for joining. Thank you. So tonight, right, I would be introducing our guest. You know, I was reading through our um, LinkedIn profile, and I was like, okay. We are going to be having the conversation. This conversation is with someone who is knowledgeable in this field. When it comes to mortgage, she has years of experience, right? And any question you have, I need you to please put it down. When it's time for questioning and answer, I'm sure she's going to provide all the answers, to you tonight. So tonight we have in the room um, Mrs. Olaitan Aworonke, and she's the Executive Director at Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC. She's a fellow chartered accountant, a business executive, a mortgage banker, a business development professional, business analyst, mortgage advisory expert, digital transformation, something strategist. Yeah. We have her tonight, and tonight I want us to welcome her. I need some excitement in the chat box. We need it to be very, very, interactive. We want this meeting, this webinar to be very, very interactive, so that, you can get something from this meeting. So I want you to welcome our guest tonight. Thank you very much, Ma, for accepting this invitation. And I'm sure that there are some people even on this call, that don't want to use MRIEF. They want the traditional mortgage system. Like, I just want to get this money. I heard that MRIEF takes a while. But I mean, from my interaction with Living Trust Mortgage Bank, if you have all the requirements, I think they are the fastest in the country when it comes to disbursement of funds, as long as you have all the requirements, right? And so we are in the field, right? So welcome very much, Ma. We are glad to have you. We are glad to have you on the call tonight. I don't know if you want to say something, to our audience. I'm sure a lot of people are excited. They have questions. Yes, Ma. Do you want to say something? You want to say hello to us?
Hello, everyone. It's great to be
Yeah.
here. I'm part of this great webinar session. I'm so excited to be here. And thank you for the opportunity, Mrs. Olamide Onosoya, Find Nigeria Properties. I'm glad to be here. Thank you, everyone, for making out the time to join this session. I would like
Thank
us to
you,
make it
Ma.
as exciting as possible and as interactive as possible. And I'm sure that at the end of this session, we'll all be ready and excited to go about securing properties in Nigeria, back home. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ma. Thank you very much, Ma. So let's go straight, into this conversation. And I would like to start, by asking, right? There are so many Nigerians in the diaspora who have delayed property ownership, for years. And I know that we've had conversations with clients who say that I cannot pay everything up front. It's too expensive. I have mortgage going on, in the US also. I have so many other obligations, and some of them are also scared of making the wrong decisions, some of them feel like I have to wait for years to save up before I can own a property. So the understanding we are bringing forward tonight is that you can actually make it shorter. So tell me, Ma, what is MRIEF and why was it created, and how can any Nigerian benefit from MRIEF? Yes, ma'am.
Once again, good evening, everyone. MRIEF is like a good news to everyone. Ab initio, a lot of people used to have this reservation about investing in properties in Nigeria. One, who to trust? And the big question is mortgage banking even realistic in Nigeria? Is it true? Is it real? Does it occur like it happens in foreign countries? Then another issue was the interest rate, 20%, 25%. And the question is, if I live in the US, for example, I'm paying mortgages on with rate of about 4 5%. Why would I go back home and pay as high as 25%? But I want to tell everyone today that this MRIEF is just a good news and it's coming at the right time. Now, what is MRIEF? MRIEF is a Murphy Real Estate Investment Fund, and it was established by the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, which is an investment arm of the federal government of Nigeria. Now, over the last 2-3 decades, there's been this huge housing deficit in Nigeria. And the government has magnanimously introduced this new product. And not only for Nigerians living in Nigeria, it includes even Nigerians in diaspora. And the beauty of it is that the interest rate is good, lower than what you would find in even any PMB. The turnaround time is fantastic, less than 2 weeks. You could achieve your goal of buying a property in Nigeria. The tenor is longer. I will still speak to all this in detail. The tenor is longer, the interest rate is good, and the equity contribution is equally good as well. So it's an initiative of the federal government of Nigeria to address the housing deficit and to also make it attractive for Nigerians in diaspora to come home and invest in our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. From the answer she just gave, I'm sure that a lot of us has gotten one or two things. So MRIEF is not just for Nigerians in Nigeria. MRIEF is for every citizen of Nigeria, whether you are based locally or you are in the diaspora, you can access MRIEF. You just need to, meet up with all the requirements, and she's going to be talking about that, shortly. So, I mean, this is to, clear our doubts for those of us that feel MRIEF is not, I'm not in Nigeria and this, no, even if you're not in Nigeria, you can access MRIEF. And I mean, she also spoke about the percentage, right? It's not 32%, it's not 35%, it's 9.75. I'm sure I'm correct. 9.75%. And that is fantastic. I mean, federal government has done well with MRIEF. I know so many young people in Nigeria who now own, maybe a 3-bedroom apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment in a very, very wonderful environment, right? Just because this scheme is available, and it's a wonderful thing to know. And we're having this conversation so that a lot of us outside the country can also partake in this good gesture. Thank you very much, ma'am. So another conversation that I would like you to shed more light to is about financing. I know that we are speaking with a lot of people outside the country. However, there are people in the country too that I have seen some people from Lagos, people saying I'm from Lagos. We have people from Nigeria too who are not sure how it works. Like, okay, so if I apply for MRIEF, I meet all the requirements. How long will it take me to pay? What would they be deducting from my salary, on a monthly basis? Is it better I go through this route, or I just save up money for years, and just do an outright purchase? So how is that going to work out, ma?
Okay. Thank you. So I'll start again by reiterating the fact that MRIEF product is for Nigerians here, resident in Nigeria, and those in diaspora. Now, the interest rate is 9.75 per annum, which is fantastic, single digit, very attractive. MRIEF is real because it's in conjunction with PFAs. PFAs are pension fund administrators. Now, the funds are readily available. In less than 2 weeks, such transactions can be consummated. And in fact, in the last 6 months, we've had several requests from individuals, both locally, we consummated some from UK, about 5 clients just in the last 1 week. And they've been able to acquire houses in very wonderful locations. Now, the minimum you can apply for is 10 million naira, and the maximum is 100 million. With 100 million, you could still get houses in very good locations. The tenure extends to as high as long as 20 years, provided that you are below 60 years or you're just clocking 60 years at the end of the tenure, i.e., if you're 40 years at the moment, we could avail you 20-year tenure and you pay before you clock 60. If you're 50 years already at the moment, we would be able to avail you for 10 years. The equity contribution for those resident in Nigeria is 20% of the sales value. So that's a great news. For our fellow Nigerians resident abroad, the minimum equity contribution is 40%. Same interest rate applies and the same tenure. Tenure runs from minimum of 5 years to 20 years. And the beauty of it, for those of us resident in Nigeria and those of us residing abroad, wherever you have box sum, you can pre-liquidate. If you feel you have some box sum and you don't want to keep paying the mortgage, you can pre-liquidate at no interest or no extra charge. Now, for those residents in Nigeria, I will just quickly run through the requirement list. Very easy. These are documents you would readily have, not called to bring together. The first one is just your loan application letter. For those of us residing in Nigeria, loan application letter and a completed application form. So once you are ready for us to onboard you, we would share the loan application format draft for you to see. You'll write that. We'll send to you the application form, which you would complete and send back to us right away. Your BVN printout. I believe everyone has a BVN in Nigeria today, even our clients in diaspora as well. They've had opportunities to get their BVN done. Your recent utility bill, less than 3 months utility bill period. Signed offer letter. This is the offer letter from the potential seller. A passport photograph, your appointment letter, or your employment letter, or your last promotion letter in your place of work. The CV of the applicant, staff ID, your salary account statement for 1 year, your pay slip for 1 year, your tax, TIN, clearance card, your pension statement, as well as evidence of equity contributions. This list are what you could easily pull together in less than 2 days. And once clients meet our risk asset criteria, we run with your application. Within 72 hours maximum, we'll give you a feedback on you qualifying for the facility otherwise, and we immediately start to put all documents together, issue you your offer letter, and we continue the process. It's just as simple as that. But one key thing is for the client to meet our risk asset criteria and be able to also have good credit history and good credit record. I'll still speak later on the requirements for Nigerians residing abroad.
Right, all right. Thank you very much, Ma. I can see, questions going on in the chat box. We are going to get to that. I want to ask one important question before, I look at some of the question and also entertain some of our guests, to ask question live, right? And this question is location. Are there specific location in Nigeria where, you cannot apply MRIEF to? For instance, yes, I'm based in Lagos. Maybe I'm from Anambra or I'm from Imo State, and I want to get a property in Imo, right? Is MRIEF utilization, is it restricted to some particular location, some particular state in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you, madam. So MRIEF is not restricted to specific locations, but one key thing, same goes for mortgages, even mortgages availed by PMBs. We are a PMB, for example, Primary Mortgage Bank. Some call us PMI, Primary Mortgage Institution. That's the same. Before we can avail you a facility, there must be a title document on such properties, as that is the starting point. The starting point is when we don't sell properties as a PMI or the PMB. So you would have to search for the properties you intend to buy. Of course, we'd always give you guidance. We have real estate developers we work with, which we can introduce to you for you to have a look at the properties they have. But the starting point for any mortgage facility is that there must be a title document, a registered title document, which is called a C of O or a deed of assignment signed off by the state government of that state. Now, MRIEF is not restrictive. Any state, you can buy any property in any state once the title is registered and the lawyer conducts a legal search on the property. The title is registered, is not encumbered. The property is not in any high risk area. Not a flooded place. The location is good. We would always advise our clients. So anywhere you want to get a property, especially in state capitals, we are ready to go through the process with you. We're ready to work with you on the process to achieve your dream or your purpose for investing in any property, either residential or you just want to acquire it as an investment.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am, for that answer. I can see questions. Ikechukwu from Birmingham said, can I have a house in Anambra State? Yes, she just answered that question. You can have a house in Anambra State as long as it has the right, the correct title. You can have a house in Anambra State. Also, Inkem said, can I choose to own a house at Owerri? Yes, you can. If you can have it in Anambra, you can have it in Owerri, right? Just like, she said, you just need the right title. And that's why Fine Nigerian Properties is here. We help you with ascertaining the right titles, to be sure that you are not being scammed. The truth is, in real estate, we've been in real estate for a while, and we've seen CFOs that are not legit. There are CFOs that are not legit. So that somebody is giving you a CFO that, it has CFO, it has a registered deed assignment. It does not mean that it is legit, right? So that's why we are like the bridge between developers and investors. You want to buy a property, you have identified a developer that is into development of properties, or you want us to suggest developers to you. That's what we do. And so one of the things we are doing with this webinar is to ensure that you can access funds to make your acquiring of this property faster, right? So that you don't wait 10 years. Because the truth is, at that 10th year, the property's value would have gone up. And all that you saved in those 10 years might not be able to, afford you that property. And that's one of the reasons why this webinar is going on at the moment. I don't know. Does anybody have any question before I move to the next question? Does anybody have any question you want to ask? I want to give this slots to 2 people before we move to the next, conversation. Anyone, you need to raise your hand. Anyone, does anybody have a question or you want to type it? Okay, I can see someone saying that, how would you assist the middle and low level to acquire this book? So that is what Mrs. Aworonke has been saying, right? One of the things that the federal government is doing is to assist the middle and low level to acquire property through MRIEF. right? So if you have, for instance, I've seen people tell me, oh, Olamide, I have just 70 million and there's this property I want to get and it's going for 120 million. This is your opportunity. Just come. That 70 million can get you the property, right? And the remaining 50 million naira to make 120 for you to acquire the property, you can get it through Living Trust Mortgage Bank, as long as you have the credibility, to show them that you can pay the 50 million naira plus the interest in 5 years, 10 years, depending on what you are choosing. And like she also mentioned, you can also pay everything up in 1 year if you have the money. You have the opportunity to do that, so you can. So that's why we are here, for the middle level, the low income earners, to own property. That is really, really, really the intent of the federal government. Okay, so I can see Ola's hand. Please go ahead. Kindly unmute Ola. Kindly unmute Ola. Emmanuel, kindly unmute Ola. Emmanuel.
Ola has been asked to unmute himself, so.
Okay, Ola, please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. Ola, please unmute yourself.
Sorry,
Yes.
guys, I'm at work. I'm a lady. I want to type, please, because I'm at work.
Oh, you
I'm in
want?
charge. Yeah.
Okay. You want to type? Okay.
I don't.
Chioma,
I want to type. Yeah.
all right.
My
Okay.
stuff are here.
All right.
Is that okay?
That's fine. That's fine.
While she's typing, I just want to quickly chip this in. I mean, based on the last question you read out, that what is the how can the bank or MRIEF assist with middle and low level individuals? Now, in fact, two main objectives of MRIEF, initiative by the federal government is one, to improve living standard of Nigerians, and they're doing this through, providing long-tenured loans and low-cost mortgages as well. I mean, 9.75 is a single digit facility, which is a great news at this moment. And to be honest, quite a number of people are already keen into it. And the plan is that there should be sales of minimum of 1 million units in Nigeria through this product to start with. And it is real. So I encourage everyone to key into this, low level, middle level, even high level. If people that already have houses, more. It's good to invest here. Just like Mrs. Olaomi said earlier, value of properties in Nigeria, if in the last decade, has been on the rise. So for an individual to just plan to save for the next 1 or 2 years, before you know it, what you have saved may not even be enough to acquire the property. But going through this route or through any other PNB facilities, I can assure you that we would work with you to achieve this aim of acquiring your property. So even the target of the federal government is the first stage to be able to sell at least 1 million houses, people to be able to buy at least 1 million houses. So it will also improve standard of living of Nigerians at the moment. When you have your own place and you're able to pay over a period of time, the cash flow is at ease, it works out well. It would also improve and encourage economic stability. So those are the two main reasons for MRIEF. So low income individuals are captured in this project as well. Middle level officers are also captured here as well. And even for the age of those that qualify, starting from age 21, you can enjoy MRIEF. So it's actually open for all. So recently we had some individuals about 25 years, also taking advantage of MRIEF. Good income, they're paying back as a when due. They've been able to achieve their aim of having properties. So I really want to encourage everyone. So if there are still questions, please let's go ahead and let's take them one after the other. Thank you.
Yes, we have quite a number of questions. So one person is Francis is asking, can we use pension fund to fund as contribution to MRIEF and repayment?
Okay, so I'll just quickly speak to the pension PFA arrangements. That's also one way the government has also been magnanimous in ensuring that at least an average Nigerian is able to acquire property. So the pension fund, you're able to access up to 25% as equity. Yes, you can. So with all the requirements, you can. Meeting the requirements, and also one more thing is that for you to access the pension fund administration funds, your pension fund, you also must go through a PMB or a PMI. You can't just access it directly. We will guide you as to what you do. We handhold you. We'll work with you on it. We'll share the information you need to work with. We'll send the requirement list to you. The flow is transparent. The flow is there. It's very easy. I'm sure you also have a PFA account officer, a relationship officer that would also guide you. But the aspect that has to do with PMB will be right here to work with you on that. So yes, you can use 25% of your pension fund to fund the equity. Yes, it's a possibility.
So I have another question here. This person said that I live abroad. How am I to confirm this is real? Okay.
All right. Okay, great. That's a very wonderful question
A
because,
fantastic question.
it is a fantastic one, really. When I started off, I said most people don't even believe that. Even people living in Nigeria find it hard to believe sometimes that mortgage facilities are real because people have really brought their fingers along the line, maybe in the last 2, 3 decades, even maybe in the last 1 decade. But I can tell you that mortgage loans are real in Nigeria when you deal with the right mortgage bank, the right PNB. PMBs and PMAs, they are the PMIs, they're the same. We are regulated by the Central Bank of Nigeria. We are banks as well. So the ways you can confirm that they are real, you can go on CBN website and look through accredited PMBs, also called PMI. I work with Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC. We are accredited and we are regulated by the Central Bank of Nigeria. So you could go on CBN website to read about the approved PMBs. You could go through each of the PMBs and we all have websites you could check through, read through our bank's PMB. We have all our financials there. Living Trust Mortgage Bank, we have our financials there. We have our investment history there. We have the number of, if you go through our the last 5 years audited accounts, you would see there the number of loans that we have disbursed to show that is real. Now back to the MRIEF. So like I mentioned earlier, MRIEF is a Ministry of Finance incorporated product. Ministry of Finance is the investment arm of the federal government of Nigeria. And on this particular product, which is MRIEF, Murphy Real Estate Investment Fund, of course, in conjunction with PFAs in the country, they have a website. There's a Ministry of Finance website. There's a Ministry of Finance Incorporated website. There's MRIEF website. Just type MREIF on Google. Type it there. There's so many things you can read there. Then you may also engage a few people that have benefited from this product to confirm to you that is real. And I can assure you that people are keen into it. And of course, find properties in Nigeria too. CEO Ms. Olaomi will put you through on information that you require. You can also reach out to us as a bank for other questions you have. But this is real and people are keen into it. And of course, even for me, we've had people in diaspora that some even have funds to buy properties outrightly, to make outright purchase. But because they also want to we've had cases whereby even individuals have the 100% funding for properties in Nigeria, but they still prefer to go through PMBs. And why do they do this? They believe that as a PMB, before you avail the facility to buy a property, you will do your due diligence. I've had a customer to say, you know what? I have money to buy it 100%, but I want to be sure of the property somebody is selling to me. I'm going to take part of it as a facility, maybe just 20% of it as facility, because I know that you banks will do your due diligence to be sure. That gives me comfort. And truly, we have legal department, we have external solicitors that we work with. We do our due diligence. So that's another reason why people even come for this. So they come for it within a year or 2 years, they pay down, the loan is good, they've cleared the loan, the property is acquired, title documentation is registered in their name, and everything is good. So, but from these websites I've mentioned, please, I would like you to look through. And if you have further questions, you could always reach out to us. Well, it is real and it's confirmed.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. Thank you for that answer. And while the going on, there's a link on the chat in the chat box. Please kindly fill in your details. If you have more questions, you can put it in. You know, we can answer your questions even after this webinar. If you are looking at getting a property, you know, we are here to solve that problem for you in collaboration with Living Trust Bank. We are here to solve that problem. Okay, so I have another question here, ma'am. It's saying that is MRIEF only applicable to civil servants, right? Or could a self-employed individual apply for MRIEF? Also, I want to, there are two questions, so I just, give you the two. And the other person is asking, okay, what is the deposit range to buy a house in Magodo? Okay, I think so, whether Magodo or Lekki, whatever, I think it's not like there's a particular deposit range for a particular location, but I'm sure she's going to give an explanation. But I want you to please touch, Ma, primarily on whether it is applicable only to civil servants or self-employed individuals.
All right. Thank you for the very valid question. MRIEF is applicable to all individuals with good credit history, good credit score, and one category is those that work with multinational companies, such as oil and gas, blue chip companies who are salary earners. That's one. It's also applicable to business owners. Yes, it's open for all, really. It is. The requirements may be a bit different. For example, the requirement for people in business, I'll just read it out to you. Just slight difference because, so in this case, when you're a salary earner, we are assessing you based on your monthly income. We're going to ask you for your pay slip, just like I mentioned earlier, your pay slip, your account statement that shows your salary and all that for individuals in employment. If you're a self-employed applicant, you very much qualify for it as well. Just that a bit of changes and additional documents will be incorporated in the requirement list, such as copy of your CSA documents, which I'm sure that you would have as a business owner. Those are just the things that are different from every other one. About 1 to 5 are the same, as I mentioned earlier, for salary earners. But for self-employed, the additional documents are a copy of your CSA documents, which includes the Form CO7, Form CO2 that shows directors of the company, the directors, the share allotments, and all that. The next document you would provide for us would be your 3-year statement of account in any bank that you've used, last 3 year statement of account, as well as your company profile. The company profile would include the list of your clientele, possibly your vendors, your suppliers, if you have contracts with any company, you're on retainership. And this is the reason, unlike individuals that we can easily access to see your monthly income, for business owners, what would show the proof or the requirement that will back up your monthly income would be your contracts, or in addition to the account statement, or whatever brings you inflow on a monthly basis, because we need to assess that your income also qualifies for taking such facilities. The next thing will be evidence of trade association. If you're into whatever trade you're into, There'll be evidence of you being part of an association or whatever group you fall under, maybe certificates from Ministry of Commerce and Industry and all that. But we'll put you through how to get all those documents. And the next major thing is a tax certificate. That's all. Just those 5 documents are what you would bring in additionally as a self-employed individual or as a business owner. But yes, you pretty much qualify for it. Then the second question as to, okay, would equity contribution be the same for, or maybe will it be different from one location to the other? No. Regardless of the location, equity contribution is the same. Equity contribution of 20% for individuals who are salary earners and those that live in Nigeria. But for business owners and those that live in diaspora is about 40%. So that's just the difference. Or regardless of the location. So what we can do, or what we do, is that, for example, if you're not buying a property way above 100 million, you now have to increase your equity contribution. The amount will avail you will still be the same. Minimum in MRIEF is 10%, and 100%, I mean, is 10 million naira, maximum is 100 million. So if you're buying a property, for example, in Magodo, and it's about 200 million, that means you have to make a equity contribution of another 100 million. But if you feel I'm buying a property of just 50 million, then you don't have to take up to 100 million. So basically, those are what relates to each of those locations. I hope I've been able to answer that question, or those two questions.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. For those asking how you can take this conversation forward, kindly fill the form in the chat box. We will reach out to you. Yes, I have some 4 hands raised for a while. I think Ola had already typed a question or its question. We are going to get to the question, and it's around, okay, what are the requirements for people in the diaspora? We'll get to that shortly. Mal, can you please unmute and ask your question if you want to? Can you please unmute and ask your question?
Hello. Oh, thank you. My question is quite straightforward. I just wanted to know if this opportunity was only for houses, or if it works for land. For example, if you find a land in a really nice location and you just want to really build what you want, and maybe the land is about 100 million or something, does this work for it as well, or is it just houses?
Thank you so much for your valid question. Just houses for now. We don't fund land alone. And generally in the mortgage banking subsector, we fund only properties, not landed properties. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Sheon Makinde, go ahead, please. Unmute yourself and ask your question.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity. Okay, so my question is kind of similar to what Mal just asked now, but a little bit different. Okay, the fourth question is, now you're not asking the fund to buy land. You already have a land, and you need loan to build what you want on the land. Is it part of it? So, like I said, that's one of the questions. So, not like you want to get the money loan for to get a land. You already have a land, and you have the documents, necessary documents, and you just want loan to build on it. Do you fund that? That's number 1 question. The number 2 question is that I don't know if you've mentioned it before. MBrief, do you have properties already, or I have to go look for property myself and then come ask for loan? I don't know if you have that, or do you have some places? I don't know if I missed that part of the discussion. If you already have maybe land in Lagos, Abuja, or anywhere, and just feel like these are the land, or I can just look for location myself, get a property myself, and then come to you and then ask for it. So those are the my 2 questions. Thank you.
All right. I would answer the second one. So for the second question, you don't have to look for the property yourself. You can reach out to us and tell us your preferred location, and we would suggest properties to you in those locations within your budget frame, right? And for instance, there are some developers that we work with, like GMH, that is also, in collaboration, that also collaborates with Living Trust Mortgage Bank, right? So we can suggest developments to you that you can be part of, right? And it will make it faster, really. It will make it faster. But that's not to say if you now identify a particular property, right, that you cannot go for. It doesn't have to be the property that Living Trust Mortgage Bank is in collaboration with their developers, or a property that FineNigerianProperties.com is, bringing forward. So it can be a property that you saw and you love. What we would help you do is to ensure that, due diligence is carried out, right, before you go ahead with it. But I would allow Mrs. Aworonke to answer your first question. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Shew, thank you for your very valid question. So MRIEF doesn't fund property development. MRIEF solely funds acquisition of properties. Now, those properties could be sourced on their website, and just like Ms. Olawumi has mentioned, you reach out to them, they'll guide you. She mentioned GMH. GMH has been one of our partners in the last 6 years in Living Trust. We fund their projects, they are part of us. So sometimes we recommend them to our clients that are interested in buying properties in the locations that they have. They have very good properties, and I know Ms. Olaitan will also put you through. You could check their website as well for properties that you have. We have different real estate companies that we work with. So on the first question, still related to the first questions. So we don't, first question, so as a PMB, we fund construction. We fund property construction, but not through MRIEF. However, this will be more of a personal loan with another title document as the collateral. When we are working with you to acquire a property, that same property is the collateral, be it the MRIEF or any of our own in-house facilities. But in this case, since it's just a landed property, yes, you mentioned it will have the title. That alone won't be the collateral. So the additional clause is that you must already have a property, a erected property that would serve as the collateral. So we'll fund it for you as a personal loan, which you can then use to construct your property. But that is one of the in-house loans that we avail to clients. But MRIEF is not suitable for that. MRIEF is only suitable for outright purchase of houses. So I hope I'm able to clarify that. So in addition to that, we also have various mortgage products, which usually serves like a bridge loan in some cases. Or possibly you've requested for MRIEF and you feel there's still a shortfall, then we could give you a bridge loan as a bank. As a mortgage bank, we have several mortgage loans. We have rent to own. We have outright mortgage facilities. We have real estate construction. We finance a lot of real estate developers in Lagos, in Abuja, in Osun State, in Oyo State, in Port Harcourt, and a few other states in the East. For construction, which they also now sell to off-takers. And off-takers are now the individual property owners, individual property buyers. So I think I've been able to, please let me know if I've been able to answer that question, or you still need me to throw more light onto a few things that you may need some clarifications with. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ma. It's getting interesting and I love it. So please, let's keep the questions coming. Let's keep it coming. And also to answer you, Mr. Sheung, I believe, right? Fine Nigerian Properties also offer what we call managed development offerings. So you can, just fill the form. We'll reach out to you. We'll help you get through with all these questions, right? I have Mr. Nonso. Mr. Nonso, please kindly unmute and ask your question. Mr. Nonso, are you there? Okay. Mr. Prince. Mr. Prince. Mr. Prince, kindly unmute and ask your question.
Hello, can you
Hello?
hear me now?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Prince Adenegan. I live here in Germany. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Hello. I
Yes,
want to know.
yes.
I want to know what probability do I have if I want to buy a property like in Lagos? Maybe the property is like 200 million, and I need a loan of 100 million from your mortgage. As a lender, how much do I need to pay as an interest? Because I don't get that part very clear. And I want to know how much would be the interest that I'll pay per year. Yeah, just go straight and let me know. For example, 100 million. Thank you.
All right, Ma. Can we get Mr. Olalekan's question too, so that you can just answer the two questions together? Because I have some other questions in the chat box too. All right, Mr. Olalekan, please go ahead so that she can answer the two questions together. Kindly
Uh,
unmute. All right.
yeah. Good evening, House. Thank you very much for bringing this to us, and thank you very much, Mrs. Aworonke. This is my question. I'm 70 years old. For fear, not just for fear, for what has happened in the past. Talking or thinking about property acquisition in Nigeria is a nightmare for me. Yeah. And I know that you must have had a lot, similar stories. Now I am 70. I still want a property in Nigeria. Um, by way of increasing my deposit or equity, blah, blah, can you vary it for me? Can I benefit from this MREIF scheme? Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. So you can answer the two questions. Okay. Can you remember the first one?
Please, if you could just
Okay, so
remind
you
me.
want a property of
Sorry.
200 million
Okay,
naira
yes. Yeah.
and the rates.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you very much, sir. Okay, let me start with the second question. Thank you, sir, from you mentioned from Australia. I every facility or generally mortgage loans, the maximum age is 60 years, sir. So we may not be able to avail you, but what we can do, because like you rightly mentioned, sir, that a lot of people have burnt their fingers while trying to invest in properties here in Nigeria. Just over the weekend, I was speaking to a family friend who resides outside the country, and he was bitterly explaining, his experience with someone they trusted, in FCT, not like a family member, but somebody close that he has taken like a family member. He sent funds to the guy. The guy constructed the property and sold the property without the knowledge of the owner. Yes, this is a real life case. It wasn't even a loan. He just was sending money to the person. He was sending pictures, sending videos. Then 2 days to when he was about to travel to sell the property, and said, "Sir, I'm sorry, I need to explain to you. This has happened. I sold your property. I used part of it to invest in the business in electronics. Part of it I used to buy a land for myself. The remaining one I used it for this and that." Then the person still went ahead to Nigeria, and it was real. So such a person, when you speak about this, of course, would not, So going through this platform encourages people to still trust the system when you go through a PMB or the MRIEF flow. So, sir, what we can do is that we can avail you a personal loan, not a mortgage loan. Because mortgage loan, the maximum is 60 years. Availing you a personal loan, then we will guide you through the process. The bank would always do is to carry out its due diligence before we avail any facility. Just like I mentioned earlier, so even some people that have the fund for buying outrightly, they still go through PMBs, even if it's just for 30% of the sales value, and they pay back after 1 year, knowing that a PMB will carry out the due diligence to ensure that the property is good. And when the loan is repaid, all the documents and then back to the client. So what we can do, sir, is to avail you a personal loan. Of course, secured but with any other property that you may have or a third-party property. That's what we can do, sir. But MRIEF would not be a good fit, and the conventional mortgage loans as well will not be a fit. But we could take this discussion up, sir, but I can assure you that we'll be willing to help you in whatever way we can via a personal mortgage loan. But then it will have to be short tenured as well. We won't be able to do any long tenure for you, sir, considering your age. But we appreciate the fact that you are even interested, sir, in still acquiring a property in Nigeria. I think we can still take this off after with Mrs. Olaomi, and if I need to come in as well, we'll be able to guide you on what you can do, sir, to achieve this dream. Thank you so much, sir. So back to the first question. The interest rates is for MRIEF is 9.75. Now, if you intend to buy a property worth about 200 million, beautiful, that means your contribution will be 50% equity, while the MRIEF will fund the 100 million of the 100 million balance. This interest rates remains at 9.75, and depending on your age, that will determine the number of years we can avail it for. But the rule is that the loan should end before the applicant clocks 60 years. Be it in-house mortgage loans through us as a PNB or the MRIEF facility. So assuming that you're 55 years old, we would only be able to avail you for just 5 years. Same interest rates and the same equity contribution applies, but if the equity contribution now exceeds the required one, you would have to make up the difference. So in this case, for example, you will be contributing 100 million, while MRIEF 100 million will be availed to you as well. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Ma. And I need to also mention for those that have land or you want to buy land and build, FindNigerianProperties.com help you monitor the development of property end to end. That's one of the services that we offer. If you don't trust anyone, come to FindNigerianProperties.com. I mean, like I said at the beginning of this session, we are every property development, every property investor in Nigeria's credibility partner. One of our utmost goal is to restore credibility back into the country. And one of the things that brought about FindNigerianProperties.com was the experiences of some of our clients who, sent money to development companies in Nigeria for properties, and some 5 years now, 4 years now, they have not gotten their properties delivered to them. And that's why we are bridging that gap. We are here to ensure, what you are paying for, you will get. All right. I have Francis Ikechukwu. I don't know if you've asked your question or you are here to. Please, if you have not, can you please unmute and ask your question? Francis. Francis, are you with us? Can you please unmute and ask your question? Francis Ikechukwu. Okay. While we are waiting for Francis, if anyone still have any question, kindly signify. We will get to you. Okay, yeah, Francis.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I'm just, I think I've missed some of the parts, and I needed you to to talk more about it. It's about people living in diaspora. What are the conditions for people living in diaspora?
Okay, thank you very much. That's where we are going into now. Mrs. Aworonke will be telling us, because this webinar is actually targeted towards people in the diaspora, although we have a lot of people in Nigeria on this call tonight. But now, Ma, what exactly do people in the diaspora, Nigerians in the diaspora, what exactly do they need to do? What would qualify them, to benefit? What would what do they need to put together? What are the informations they must put together to ensure that the process is fast for them? Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, sir, for your question. Very valid question. And I would like to start by saying the first thing that qualifies you is that you're a Nigerian, so you're already qualified. So, in addition to that, I mean, the requirements for Nigerians and diaspora is not totally different. As a diaspora, just a few things you would include in your application will be copy or evidence of your resident permit or work permit in the country that you reside. And this is just to know that, yes, you have access to, you have the right to work there. There would be income, to service your loans. And so I'll just go through each of the item again. Most of those things are similar to Nigerians residing in Nigeria as well. Loan application form, we would send that to you. We'll share that with you. We guide you how to fill it. Another one is the loan application letter, which is just the usual one applicable to those living in Nigeria and who are diasporans as well. Evidence of equity contribution. There's a slight difference here. If you reside in Nigeria and you earn your income in Nigeria, you would be making 20% equity contribution in the minimum. While for those that reside outside the country would be making 40% equity, while MRIEF or our own in-house loan would be availed to the tune of 60% of the sales value of the property or the purchase value. Of course, the same document, the same offer letter, offer for sale from the potential seller is applicable to both. 3 passport photographs, a copy of your resume, just to have an idea of where you work and all that about your work history. Then, like I mentioned earlier, evidence of your work permit in the country you reside in or your resident permits. Our 3 months utility bill in the minimum, i.e. this is June, we would expect you to supply us your pay slip for the month of May, April, and March. Then evidence of tax payment in your country, 12 months bank account statement in the country you reside, as well as 12 months pay slip. And lastly, evidence of your being gainfully employed, which is through your employment letter or your letter of last promotion. Those are the requirements for customers in diaspora. The turnaround time is the same. I mean, even on our website, you could go on our website, fill your form. We treat those abroad and those in Nigeria with the same turnaround time. The maximum is within 2 weeks, with all documents being submitted by the client. Your loan should be ready. So regardless of where you are, the turnaround time is the same because things are done online real time now. So being at the country is not an hindrance to giving you a very good turnaround time. Just a few things that would be different in just the way I've analyzed it in terms of your documentation, which is just 40% equity, evidence of 40% equity contribution, and your work permit. And one more thing that we also do for clients residing abroad is credit check. We do credit checks here in Nigeria as well. But for those residing abroad, we'd have to do credit search in the country that you reside. Sometimes it's fast for some countries like the UK. Within a few days, we're able to get that resolved. So it depends on the country where you reside and how accessible their credit portal is. That may just be the only delay. But aside that, the turnaround time is the same for those residing in Nigeria and those residing abroad.
All right, Francis, I hope Mrs. Aworonke answered your question. Okay, we have Fumi's hand raised up. Fumi, please unmute and go ahead with your question. Fumi, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, good evening. I wasn't able to unmute myself earlier. Thank you. Thank you so much. So thank you, Ma. My only question is regarding the resident permit. So would that affect you if you have like a citizenship abroad? Would that be counted as a residency? or is that different? Just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
A quick one. It counts for it as well.
Okay.
So that your work permit, your PR document, or your citizenship documents, all the same. Just an evidence that you reside there, you could work legally. So if you're a citizen, it even makes it faster and better. So it's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you for that very valid question.
All right. For Sherry, go ahead, please. For Sherry, kindly unmute and ask your question. If you are speaking, we can't hear you. Kindly unmute and ask your question for Sherry. Okay.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to confirm the part of equity contribution. So I've heard that mentioned if it's below 100 equity. Thank you.
Sure she got that. However, I think what she's trying to ask is the equity contribution, if it is below 100, what it would be, and if it is above 100, what it would be. I know you mentioned it earlier, but I think that's a question.
Okay, I'll just speak to that again. So equity contribution remains 20% regardless of the amount, especially when it's below. For example, if it's 100 million, you will be contributing 20 million. However, if the property you're acquiring or intend to acquire is about 80 million, hence your equity will be 16 million, which is the same 20% of the sales value. However, for those that intend to acquire properties above 100 million, i.e., I think Mr. Sheung mentioned 200 million earlier. That means in that case, you would be contributing 50%, which is 100 million. But that 20 million remains constant, which is the minimum you can contribute. In some cases, some customers will come to say, you know what, I can do more than 20%, even though I'm buying a property of 100 million. I wish to contribute about 50 million, which is 50%. It's allowed. It's just the minimum threshold that really matters, i.e., a customer coming to see, well, I can only contribute 10%. Then that is now out of the product. So the minimum is 20%, which now, depending on the sales value of the property you want to buy. Okay, so Sherry, I hope I was able to answer that question. And if you need further clarifications, please do let me know. Thank you.
All right. Finally, tonight, for those that will be given the opportunity to, ask their question live, we have Adeyanju Lanrewaju. Please unmute and go ahead with your question. Adeyanju Lanrewaju, please go ahead with your question. You have to unmute yourself and go ahead with your question. Okay, we have Flora. I already said finally. Okay, Flora, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, okay, let me come in before Flora come in, please. The something is writing that the host doesn't allow me to unmute, but now I can speak. I can see that the microphone is no more muted. Now, my question is this: let me say, not all the houses, but let me say 60% of the houses we have in Nigeria doesn't really have CFO. So I want to ask this question: what is the main document that one should expect the house that want to buy to have before going for it? Because when you look at Nigeria of today, maybe, I don't know, Lekki, Aja, Abuja, I don't know, but talk of most of other areas, they don't have CFO. So I want to know which document exactly is the house is expected to have before one can say, I want to purchase this house, I want to buy this house.
Okay, so I'll just go straight to that. Thank you, Mr. Denyoju, for your question. So, for any mortgage loan, the starting point is for the individual to be able to identify the property that he or she wishes to acquire, and it must have a title. We call it a registered title. The registered title comes in two ways, basically. The first one is the COO, and that is definitely registered with any state government or the FCT, depending on which location. Deed of assignments, yeah, like you rightly mentioned, Mr. Denyoju, that most houses in Nigeria do not have titles, but things are changing now because mortgage business is real now. People see it as something that is real, and it has come to stay. With the effort put in by CBN, the effort put in by the federal government, and even all PMBs, even the UMBAN, that's a institution that connects all and also regulates all PMBs. So things are moving different. We've had cases whereby UMBAN and PMBs did presentation to state governors to say, please assist to let COOs documents come out on time so that we can give out more mortgage loans to people to acquire their properties. So now there's also what we call deed of assignment. Okay, so a lot of real estate developers in Lagos would acquire a large expanse of land that would have a COO, then they will now build different apartments on it. Then what they can assign to you is a deed of assignment, i.e., you are buying an apartment. It could be a 2-bedroom apartment in that large estate, or a terrace duplex, or a semi-detached duplex, or a standalone duplex called detached. They would issue a deed of assignment to you. That deed of assignment would then be registered with that state government through their Ministry of Lands. So once you have that, it also serves as a title document. Now, having a title document is not only beneficial to the bank availing the facility alone, but even to the customer. Because even when you are done paying your facility, you want to be able to hold your title to say, I have paid for this property. I've paid loans. This is my title. I have it in my name. So that's why banks would insist that there must be a title document. So COO is one, deed of assignment is one. So real estate developers also know the importance of this. So as they're also constructing properties to be sold to off-takers, they already have relationships with Ministry of Lands as well through many states. So once they sign that for you, your lawyer, their lawyer will work together to ensure that they have it registered in that state through the Ministry of Land. So that as well, sir, serves as a title document, but not just them preparing it, you signing this, signing. No, it doesn't make it valid. What makes it valid is when it is registered at the Ministry of Land with that country, that state, and the governor, His Excellency, signs off or appoints, as the case may be case by case basis in different states, may appoint the Commissioner for Finance to sign on his behalf. So those two documents are form title documents expected for the MRIEF loan or in-house mortgage facilities.
Thank you. Thank you. We need to start wrapping up now. Finally, please, Flora, can you go ahead and ask your question? That'll be our final question tonight. Our final live question tonight. Flora, please, can you unmute and ask your question?
Okay, I think I'm muted already. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
All right. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, please. I just want to quickly talk about the right and the right to live in and the citizenship and all of that. So, is that going to be a barrier? Because for some of us, we've not been able to get something like that. And even though I've lived here 18 years, by the grace of God, I have something doing. I'm an hairdresser. Now I even still work a little bit with one of my boss at least gave me a job to be doing, added to my hairdressing stuff. I know I can pay anything I'm able to get if there's anything like that. So with that citizenship become a barrier. And also because I have my account, you can see what is coming in and going in and all of that. So can that still be a barrier for me to be able to acquire what I want to get as a Nigerian? Yeah, that's my question, please.
Okay. Thank you, Flora.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to be a citizen or have that document alone to qualify. Your work permit or your PR card serves as your evidence to be able to work there. What we just want to know is that you are legally allowed to work in that country. And the reason is just because we need to know that you have a steady flow of income that won't be interrupted with any legal issues to stay in that country. So you don't have to be a citizen, really. If you have your work permit and your status to stay there is confirmed, we're good to go. We're willing to, we're not a regulator, even though we are regulated and we have to comply with all regulatory requirements. Yes, but we'll give you advice on what the documents you have. So when you bring all the documents, review it. If you qualify for it, if it meets the risk asset criteria, we will ensure that we're glad to work with you once there's evidence of your uninterrupted income source and that you're able to legally work in that country. So you just don't have to be a citizen. Any other documents would work. Your work permit will work. And even if it's student permits that you have, and it gives you rights to work for, I think, 20 hours. It depends on the week, and we can verify that source of income through your account statement, through whatever engagement letter that you have. We will look at it on a case-by-case basis and we'll be able to handhold you through the process. Ms. Olawumi, I can see Mr. Prince and I can see Ola's hand on. If we can't take them, they could please drop their questions in the chat box.
I think their hands have actually been on. I think they've not just brought it down. They've asked questions.
Okay, questions already. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I think there are other questions. We could take it off the call later. Maybe they could send questions in and all of that.
Yes. Although someone asked here that, what do you mean by 40% equity for people in the diaspora? That you should explain what you meant by 40% equity contribution.
Okay, so let me start by explaining what equity contribution is. So equity contribution is the part you'd commit as an individual for any transaction relating to mortgages. So those residing in Nigeria, equity contribution for them is 20%. For those in diaspora, it's 40%, and it's just the way the product is. And the reason why we're not discriminating, we're not doing that, that income residing in Nigeria here, the client already has the salary in the Nigerian account. So having ADD on the account, authorized direct debit on the account, makes us to be able to get our repayment on a monthly basis as and when due. Or like when you are abroad, the risk is a bit high. Of course, we know that you have very good credit, but the income is not directly sitting in your Nigerian account. And that's why the equity is a bit higher than what obtains for those residing in Nigeria. So 40% of the value of the properties you're going to buy is what your equity would be. So if you're acquiring the property of 100 million, you would be contributing 40%, while the MRIEF loan or the in-house PMB loan would fund the 60% difference. And of course, that excludes charges, management fee, which is applicable to any facility globally, management fee, processing fees, the transparent system. Before loans are disbursed, you would see your repayment schedule, you have your offer letter, you will read through it, you will append the signature. You are free to ask any question, query, anything you want to query. We are on the same page even before loans are disbursed. It is a very transparent system. We are highly regulated by the Central Bank of Nigeria and other regulators in the subsector that we operate. That's the mortgage banking subsector.
All right. Thank you very much, Ma. People are still dropping questions and we need to end this call. So someone said that so I think I'll just ask the two questions together so that I can take it together. Meanwhile, for us, I realize that some of us are already dropping off. I understand it's been a while on this call. Yeah, so please check findnigerianproperties.com. We are your credibility partner for anything property. You want more information on how to, assess this mortgage facility with Living Trust Mortgage Bank. We are here to answer all your questions, to connect you to them to help you, ensure that the developer is doing the right thing. We are like the ones on ground for you. So check us out on FindNigerianProperties.com. Yeah, someone is asking that can another, okay, it has gone up. I'm trying to, okay, first question, can I still secure a mortgage in Nigeria if I have a mortgage going on abroad? And another person also said, can I use another property document as an equity contribution for a mortgage? Can I use another property document as an equity contribution for a mortgage? That's one. And then for someone in the diaspora asking, can I also be part of this MRIEF while I have a mortgage ongoing out of the country?
Okay, let me just quickly take those two questions. Even I've already put my LinkedIn details and my mobile number for those that still want to reach out to me. That's now for the questions. Ms. Olaitan will also share my details with you. First of all, if you are already in a mortgage facility in whatever country you reside, it doesn't disturb you from. It doesn't deprive you or disturb you from having MRIEF loan. However, there's what we call DSR, which I was about to wrap up with. DSR is the debt service ratio. We still work on the 33.3%, i.e., when you have a mortgage loan with us, your loan repayment on a monthly basis must not exceed 33.3%. So if you already have a mortgage loan in your country, we would add that repayment that you make every month to the potential repayment you'll be making with us. If it doesn't exceed that particular threshold, we would avail you the facility. They do not disturb each other. But however, if you're already highly geared, i.e., you're already servicing huge loans that may hinder or disrupt your repayment here, then we could tell you to reduce the amount, or we could guide you on ways to go about it. You could look for properties that are not as expensive as the ones that you usually choose, so that your DSR is still within that threshold. Now, what I wanted to also wrap up with is the fact that for people that have low DSR, what people do and what we advise, which is allowable in the products, be it PNB products or MRIEF, is that your spouse can join you as a co-borrower. Some cases, people's repayment source may be a bit challenged. Maybe they're highly geared. Their spouse could come in as a co-borrower, such that putting the two income together, you can as well benefit from this facility. Either you reside here in Nigeria or you're in diaspora. Yes, I hope I've been able to answer that.
All right, thank you very much, Ma.
Okay.
Yes, so the final questions tonight before we call it an evening. And someone is asking, is MRIEF here to stay? Or is it going to be short-lived? Is it ending 2027? Or is it ending when the current administration, will end their tenure? Is it here to stay? So that's the final question tonight.
Okay, so I want to believe it's here to stay because it's the federal government initiative through the Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance would always be here to stay. That's it. So Ministry of Finance will be here to stay. The federal government will be here to stay. And the project is to ensure that the economy is getting better. People are able to afford housing units for their families and themselves. So this is a product that would stay. PNBs we have PNBs, my bank got incorporated 33 years ago. PNBs are here, we are getting better. The products will stay. So it's not just a one-off, it's not a flash in the pan. Together we can make it stay. And by the grace of God, it will stay. We are here to support at every point or throughout the chain of fulfilling your dream to have houses here in Nigeria.
All right, Ma. All right. I want us to appreciate Mrs. Aworonke. If you have gotten anything tonight, I need you to, just put it in one sentence, whatever it is that you are picking away from this webinar. I'm sure that you would agree with me that it has been very, very educative, very, very, eye-opening and all. Thank you very much, Ma. We are really, really grateful. Thank you for saying yes, to our call. And once again, to our guests, very much for participating. Thank you for all the questions. It made it so exciting, and I'm sure that we are going to start in our investment journey. It's not going to be just a webinar for a webinar sake. We are going to be getting all the calls. I need you to fill the form. I need you to check www.findnigerianproperty.com. Fill the form. Answer all the questions. You have land you want to build. You need credible developers, construction engineers. You want to connect with Mrs. Aworonke, just ask us all the questions. We are here to answer all your questions. You want us to help you monitor your development, to monitor that it's being delivered. We are here. Just fill the form. We'll reach out to you. Thank you very much, Ma. I would like you to say any last word, for the participants, people in the diaspora and people in Nigeria. Your last word for us tonight before we close it tonight. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you all participants for joining this webinar. Thank you for the session. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, Ms. Olawumi, FNP. You are doing a fantastic job. And I can see you work end to end in making this a possibility for Nigerians to invest in Nigeria. So I want to encourage everyone. Please let it happen. Be encouraged to do so. Let's invest back here. There are companies that you can trust. You can trust FNP in monitoring it for you. Living Trust Mortgage Bank is here. MRIEF Loan is here to support the funding of acquiring your properties here in Nigeria. I'm glad to be part of this program. It's been a wonderful session. Thank you all, and God bless. I've dropped my contact details there, my LinkedIn and my phone number. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to me through Mrs. Olawumi. Thank you once again, Mrs. Olawumi, for this opportunity.
Mrs. Olamide. My name is
Olamide.
But I take Olawumi. Olawumi is a good name. All right, so I'm sure we are going to be reaching out to you soon with a long list of people who are credible and are going to be taking this opportunity immediately. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. It was quite, exciting. Thank you, and have a wonderful remaining part of your day. Bye, everyone. Bye, bye, bye. Thank you.